You jolt awake in Imperial China, completely terrified because the aristocrat you just slept with is standing over the bed, holding a literal machete. But he's not going to kill you. He's hacking off his own expensive silk sleeve because you fell asleep on it. And waking you up is apparently a massive social faux pas. Congratulations, you've just been given the cut sleeve. It's an incredibly romantic gesture that just painted a massive, lethal target right on your back. Because now you are playing the most terrifying stealth game in history. You're a low-status servant. You go from sweeping hallways to suddenly wearing premium imported silk, and you have to pray no one connects the dots. Because if the wrong unit gossips, or a jealous concubine figures it out, you don't just get fired. You get executed via forced vegetable insertion. Yes, really, vegetables. Shove into you until your body gives out. That is the horrific price for moving too fast and sneaking out at midnight. So you play it cool. You sweep. You bow. Your wardrobe improves one thread at a time, like you're grinding for better armor in a very stressful video game. You live in a constant state of mild panic every time someone looks at your shoes. Now, if you're the emperor, you can have a whole harem of tea house boys and private garden tutors, and no one blinks an eye. At least, not until the Qing dynasty rolls in and decides your romance costs a month in a dungeon and 100 brutal lashes with a bamboo cane. But at least you aren't in the Aztec Empire. Here, there is no playing it slow. There is no hiding in the royal gardens. There is only one terrifying question. Did anyone catch you? If the answer is yes, you are aggressively dead. And how you die depends entirely on your bedroom logistics. If you were the active partner, you get strangled in a public execution. Pretty quick, comparatively. If you were the passive one, they literally rip your colon out of your body and then set you on fire, because your body is a sacred offering to the gods, and tarnishing it requires the absolute maximum amount of nightmare-inducing agony. Then the Spanish conquistadors show up with their rosaries and decide the Aztecs weren't being brutal enough. You'd think the guys preaching love and salvation would give you a break, right? Wrong. They add vicious floggings, more fire, and weaponized war dogs trained specifically to tear you limb from limb in the name of civilization. You probably think you'd be safe in ancient Greece. Everyone says Athens was chill, right? Sure. Provided you navigate a social minefield of unspoken rules you didn't know existed. In Athens, you can date a guy, but only if he's younger, you're his mentor, he pretends he's not really into it, and you strictly break up the second he hits maturity. It's less of a romance and more of a highly regulated homoerotic internship with terrifying social consequences. You meet at the gymnasium. You wrestle, oil glistening on your skin under the Mediterranean sun. You drink wine at banquets until dawn. But you absolutely cannot admit this is just dating with extra steps. You can't let your hand linger too long. You can't look too eager. If you slip up and look genuinely in love, your social credit score drops to 0. You become the absolute outcast of the symposium. Rome takes these Greek rules and makes them infinitely more toxic. Here, age doesn't matter. Only dominance does. You can sleep with literally anyone. Slaves, sex workers, foreign captives, as long as you are the one in control. Because if you take it, if you are the passive one, you are a slave, a traitor to Roman masculinity, a total disgrace. You have to walk aggressively, talk aggressively, and probably buy a chariot you don't even like just to overcompensate. Because if you don't, picture standing on the marble floor of the forum when a senator points right at you. His toga billows as he drops one word. Pathicus. Every head snaps your way. Your political career is vaporized before he even finishes his sentence. In feudal Japan, sleeping with your boss is literally baked into the syllabus. You're a teenage samurai apprentice. You learn sword fighting, strategy, honor, and occasionally, you warm your master's bed. It's called wakashudo. It's built on deep ideals of loyalty and mutual devotion, and society totally accepts it, right up until they don't. Because all it takes is one intercepted love letter, your handwriting on a rice paper, the ink still wet, falling into the hands of a jealous rival. Suddenly, you spend half your day perfecting your sword swings, and the other half terrified that someone saw you leaving the sliding paper doors of his quarters too late. One whisper reaches the daimyo, and you're kneeling in a perfectly raked Zen garden at dawn, dragging a cold blade across your own stomach to commit seppuku just because someone questioned your honor. Japan doesn't care about your feelings. It cares about perception. But at least Japan didn't call you a literal demon yet. For centuries, You could actually breathe in ancient India. In fact, you were thriving. The Kama Sutra casually gives you step-by-step instructions on how to seduce another man. You see the Hijra, people living openly as a third gender, blessing royal marriages, delivering babies, and casually strolling through the highest courts of the land. Over in Thailand, the Catholic are putting on lavish performances for kings. It isn't a secret. It isn't a scandal. It is just a normal Tuesday. Then the British Empire kicks down the door. They take one look at this centuries-old acceptance, aggressively clutch their Victorian pearls, and draft Section 377 of the Penal Code. They legally classify your entire existence as an unnatural offense. Suddenly, your identity is a felony. You're living your best life, and suddenly guys in powdered wigs and thick wool coats in the middle of the jungle are telling you your soul is dirty. You go from walking freely through the palace to rotting in a damp, disease-ridden colonial prison cell. The British literally copy-paste this exact same homophobic law to India, Singapore, Jamaica, Nigeria, Sudan, every single piece of land they decide they own. They take societies that accepted you for hundreds of years and prosecute you with imported foreign morality. And the absolute worst, most gut-wrenching part, decades after the empires fell, after the colonizers packed up and went back to London, those laws stayed. The British left the building, but they left the homophobia running in the system like a devastating societal virus. You drop into ancient Assyria, and the air is thick with testosterone and absolute terror. Your entire existence hinges on 3 suffocating rules. Never show weakness. Never be passive. Never, ever get caught. You are in a hyper-militarized society where every man is treated like a weapon. If anyone even suspects you like to take orders in the bedroom, there is no trial, no poetic diss tracks. You are dragged out into the blazing public square, brutally castrated and slaughtered in front of the entire army. Not because God hates you, because it's seen as a weakness. And weakness is a contagion that has absolutely no place in a war machine. So you act tough. You glare at everyone. You swallow your identity whole just to survive the barracks. Then the Abrahamic religions sweep across the map, and the game completely changes. This is the moment your suffering goes from a social faux pas to a permanent cosmic horror. It's no longer just about your public honor or your military reputation. It's about your eternal soul. You aren't just hiding from the police or the emperor anymore. You're hiding from the sky. Judaism drops the banhammer in Leviticus. Christianity tells you not to do it and adds the terrifying threat of burning in agony for all eternity. Islam is a bizarre roller coaster. In some royal courts, you're writing beautiful homoerotic ghazals in perfumed gardens celebrating male beauty. But then, the clerical interpretation shifts, and those exact same love poems are suddenly used as a written confession to execute you. This is the ultimate devastating shift. It is now a sin, a moral stain, something that allegedly follows your ghost after you die. You are forced to repent, to surgically remove your own identity just to save your soul. By the 1800s, industrialization made your life a claustrophobic nightmare. The cities are crowded, and they are always watching you. Victorian England decides that heterosexual marriage is the only mandatory setting. You are lying in bed when the police hammer on your door at 2 a.m. The gaslight catches their brass buttons as they drag you out into the cold. Being caught means a freezing prison cell, brutal hard labor, and your name printed in the morning paper so your entire family can read about your destruction over breakfast. The 20th century doesn't save you. It just changes the lighting. You're finally feeling safe, dancing in a packed underground club, when the music abruptly cuts out. The harsh, blinding fluorescent lights flick on. Heavy police boots stomp across the sticky floor. You try to memorize their badge numbers, but your brain is drowning in pure panic as they throw you against the wall. And today, in some countries, you can finally breathe. You can marry. You can adopt kids. You can live. In others, your love is still a felony. You still face a dark prison cell or a hangman's noose. It is the toxic ghost of dead empires, still haunting the legal codes of nations that refuse to let the past die. You survive by hiding, by lying, by shattering yourself into socially acceptable bite-sized pieces so you don't make anyone uncomfortable. Or you fight. You resist. You absolutely refuse to disappear. Because being gay across history isn't just a single story.